got beef with FPS game creators. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically in the last, I would say 10 years, we haven't gotten a actual solid FPS. Or if we do get a solid FPS, they instantly take it with like the most weird idea you could basically come up with. And this happens so many times that you have to start wondering like if these people are real people. Like because sometimes the decisions that are being made about these games, right? Whether you're playing Call of Duty, Rainbow Six Siege, Battlefield, whatever it is, it really feels like someone's going into Chat GBT and typing make me a FPS game like Call of Duty and then literally just getting a copy and paste. So basically over the years, I have played many FPS. I'm sure that anybody watching this has probably played a couple FPS themselves. My first ever was the OG Black Ops, and then I played Modern Warfare 3, and then I played Black Ops 2, and then Ghost, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4. I mean, man, I was stacking on FPS. I mean, Battlefield 3 is the GOAT, and Modern Warfare 3 is the GOAT, in my personal opinion, when it comes to the two best, like, FPS games ever created. There was just something special about those games, you know? It felt like everything in the game was useful. It felt like everything in the game had a purpose. But at the same time, it didn't hold your hand either. They didn't hardcore lock everything behind a paywall. They didn't hardcore lock everything behind having to play the game for 600 years. But still, when you would use something, it took a good amount of skill, especially Modern Warfare 3 is probably one of the best examples I can give of this, where when you played Modern Warfare 3, you could play offline. Because I didn't have online for a long time, so I played offline. And when you played offline against bots, you could still level up your guns, level up your skins, and all that stuff. That's actually how I got gold on multiple of my loadouts. Basically, is I just grinded offline because I didn't have online, and then eventually I got online, and all I ever did was play one of the best FPS game modes that has been released to this day, which is 2v2s, 3v3s, 1v1s. Absolute go of game modes. I don't know why they don't put this into the games anymore, and it just seems so ridiculous to me. If you don't know what like these game modes were, is basically you would take a normal match and they would severely reduce it down, and then they made custom maps specifically for these. So another game that did something like this would be like CS:GO, how they have Wingman, where you just take a map and you severely shrink it, or you make a fully custom one to play these 2v2s and stuff on. And that was peak gaming. I still have clips to this day of me and like basically my best friend literally hopping on there and doing 2v2s every single day. And then, hopping on the mic and be like, yo, trick shot for life, trick shot for life. Like, that was just such a cinematic thing in my head. Or when I would play Battlefield 3 for the first time and I had to grind up all of the basic weapons in the game so you could like get to the snipers and stuff like that. Me and my friend that I played with at the time, when we played Battlefield 3, we took that game so seriously. Like I knew like real life military callouts before I knew how to do geometry. Like it was crazy how good I was at that game. And this isn't me just bragging. It's just talking about like how impactful those games were when it came to the skill and everything that it was behind them, you know? Or we go into like Black Ops 2, which I think is one of the best FPS games ever created, right? They had a banner creation system, so you could have your own custom banner. They had the clan tags, game replays. They had insanely good zombies. They had like match replays. They made it where like just sound cues were really good, but it was also still really hard to pick up on them in the game. It made it feel like every single thing in Black Ops 2 almost had a purpose. Every part of the map, every part of the game, every part of the UI, every part of everything had a purpose besides just like making the game slightly more convenient, essentially. Like I remember, obviously, if you played Black Ops 2, you were probably quickscoping. Almost every single person on Black Ops 2 was quickscoping or trick shotting at one point in time because of like phase, essentially. And me and my boys, we created this clan, or one of my friends created this clan, I should say, that we called Optical, and we would literally like go in and pub stomp lobbies and just try so hard. I remember when I started getting good at like Nuketown spawn trapping. Does anybody remember you could shoot through the bus? Because I still remember the day that I learned how to shoot through the bus, and my friend was so mad because he could never figure that out. And we still joke about that to this day because he still can't figure out how I was like hitting him through the bus, on Nuketown. So, like, there's just so many memories that could be created through those. And then obviously you go to like Ghost. Ghost, I mean, everything in Ghost kind of sucked outside of like the main gameplay. I think everybody kind of agrees on that. But like the main core gameplay was good. In outside of that, like the skin creation, the optimization, everything, it was pretty bad. It really was. But the gameplay itself of like the multiplayer was absolute peak when it came to FPS at that time. And then we went into Black Ops 3, right? If you play Black Ops 3, you could create your own skins. There was really unique skins throughout the entire game. The zombies was peak. They introduced Gobblegum. We got more storyline. The multiplayer itself wasn't terrible. Like, was it different? Yeah, but it was still good because you got exactly what was expected of the game. And I think this is at this point where FPS started going downhill. This is where Battlefield started kind of releasing just okay battlefields, Like you had like Battlefield 3, and then all of a sudden we're getting like um the man, what was it? It was like Battlefield World War II or something like that. I'm blanking the name. I'm so sorry. You can correct me on it all you want. That's perfectly okay. But like that game was just, it was okay. Like it was a good Battlefield. It was a good game, but it was just okay, you know. And then like this was kind of also the era where we started getting Battlefront 2, which was obviously the Star Wars game, and we once again made it back to peak. But then all of a sudden we're just like, oh, the waters got shaky all of a sudden, and we just had a 10-year drought of nothingness when it came to games, besides Rainbow Six Siege. And it's funny because obviously you can love Siege, you can hate Siege, but if you were playing it like let's say 10 years ago, right? And not even 10 years ago, I would say like 7 to 8 years ago, the game was majestic, you know? Like there was just so many random things, so many wacky things that would happen in the game that were annoying, but at the end of the day, funny, the like glitches and stuff like that. And these are just like in my head, like the games that kind of I guess made the foundation for FPS. So it's really hard for me to look at an FPS game these days and be like, wow, this game looks so good. Meanwhile, they aren't adding any new features at all to the game. They're not adding anything unique. They're not adding any old mechanics that people enjoy. They refuse to like have a over monetization of the game because it's too much work for the company. It's like, dude, you guys could create a 10 out of 10 banger. I mean, a game that would last the lifetime of World of Warcraft. But instead, we just like don't for some reason. I mean, imagine this, okay? And this is just a brainstorm right off the top of my head. So imagine this Call of Duty, but you create a Call of Duty that has movement similar to Ghost. We do like similar to Ghost, similar to Black Ops 2, because the was pretty smooth. You do tag creations, right? Then you make it where You can do banner creations, you do skin creations, you do your zombies, but you base it off of Black Ops 3 zombies. So it's still base zombies, but with gobblegum. Crazy idea, I know. And then after that, you add a battle royale because battle royales are just popular right now. But you don't do a battle royale like Warzone. You do it like Blackout, and that's just like a brainstorm off the top of my head. Like that's like the simple things I can think of right now with like what I'm talking about. But I guarantee you, just think for like 1 second. What is a mechanic in a FPS game where you're like, if another FPS game had this, it would make it amazing. I bet almost every single person watching this video thought of something almost instantly. Now just think if you had a full team that actually played Call of Duty and could brainstorm for like maybe an hour, you would come up with like actual peak of peak gaming that would last forever. Because people always think for like COD, right? They're like, oh well, the skins ruin it. Oh well, the the battle pass ruins it. That stuff doesn't ruin COD, or it doesn't ruin a Battlefield or Siege or something like that. What ruins these games is the giving up as from what it feels from the devs. So like Siege, right? Siege was getting updated. It was going pretty well, and overall the game was actually becoming a better game. Like they were cutting down on the cheaters. They were releasing new maps, new skins, new like everything. And then they're like, "Yeah, guys, Siege X," and Siege X just demolished the game. They literally took a bulldozer and steamrolled over the game. It's still not a horrible game in comparison to like some other games you could play, but it's just not fun anymore. You have to like relearn game mechanics, relearn sounds, relearn like everything. Like this, especially if you've played the game for a long time. It's just miserable. Or you have Black Ops 7. That's a actual copy and paste of Black Ops 6, but they aren't putting your skins into Black Ops 7. They're just transferring like gobblegum and XP boosters. So basically, any money that you spent in the last year to 2 years on Black Ops 6, however long it's been out, is completely useless. Like, if companies stopped this thing where they want to physically make their players feel like what they're doing is wrong, they would have a indefinite game because you can indefinitely update a game. If a game is good at its bones, you can indefinitely update it to basically make it better over time and continue to have people to come back to it. And that's facts. And you can literally with like COD's money, they could easily promote it as like basically a brand new COD, you know, and with all the Call of Duty pros, Call of Duty players out there, they would definitely promote it in that way. And I keep saying Call of Duty, but like this goes for any game, right? This goes for Battlefield, Rainbow Six Siege, even if you want to make a new FPS. I'm saying stop making these ridiculous FPS games, you know, and try to try to take a look at like what's the spice that the other games are missing. Well, what's that little bit of sugar that they're not paying attention to in these games, and you might get some like just so incredibly good it can't be competed against. I know this was a little bit of a rant video today, but it's something that's kind of been on my mind a lot recently. You know, is I wonder what 100 people alone could brainstorm in 1 hour to basically come up with the best FPS game ever created. But yeah, I don't know. What's your guys' opinions on FPS or the current state of FPS games just in general? Maybe you know you're kind of in the same boat as me, where you're like they're decent, but I mean here's 500 things that can make this game 10 times better instantly, and maybe you just you're like it doesn't really matter. But besides that, have a wonderful night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Peace.